All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on countering the combat base with collar sleeve, right? So when I'm playing here with Gavin, oftentimes what happens is our partner or our opponent ends up dropping to one knee, like just like this. So there's a couple reasons why he's doing this. The first reason why is because when he's standing, when I'm jamming my foot on the hip, I'm putting a lot of pressure on his posture, on his legs. It's very uncomfortable for him to play here. So after a while, it makes it really easy for me to start to work upper body attacks like the triangles and the omoplatas, right? So oftentimes as they drop to one knee, right, this gives them kind of a rest so they can kind of like recollect their thoughts and start to think about what they're going to do next, right? So when he drops to one knee, one advantage that he has is that when my foot's on his hip, he's able to close his elbow and kind of regain his elbow line, right, to his ribs. So what that does is he's able to like get close and then he's able to get the grip. So one thing in jiu-jitsu I always like to talk about is jiu-jitsu strength, right? So what is jiu-jitsu strength? It's not just being strong and having static strength like pushing or pulling, but it's the ability to close your lats, engage your core, and like kind of connect yourself to a grip to make that position feel strong because you're using your whole body. So right in this scenario, that's what Gavin's doing. If I allow him to close his elbow here, he's going to feel super strong. And now it's going to be really hard for me to work any type of attacks, and he can stand up and start to work toreandos and things like that, right? So the moment I feel him drop down to the combat base, one thing that I like to do to counter it is to make sure I kick my leg past the body. So when he's standing, the foot control is really good because I can create that hip hinge. But when he drops down, he's got good control of his posture, so I can't create any type of hinge anymore. So immediately what I'm going to do is as his knee's up here, and I'm going to make sure my left leg kicks past the body like so. Right? So once my leg kicks past the body, oftentimes what they're going to try and do is they're going to try and control my ribs so that they can get more base and they can start to regain the control of my leg. Right? So what happens here is as we're in this position, what I'm going to do is my first focus is going to be to break the grip that he has on my ribs or on my collar or my belt. Anyway, either way, it's an anchor grip. I need to take care of it, right? So when he has this anchor grip, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kick until I feel the grip break. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my knuckles and I'm going to hide his hand under my leg like this, right? So once I hide his hand under my leg, I'm going to do the motion very similar to the shoulder walk, right? When my partner was standing, I want to engage my core, bring my chest to my knee, right? Drive your knee. So as it's like this, watch, I'm very engaged here, right? So I'm going to do kind of like a half inversion. And I'm going to go over my shoulder like this. And as I'm hiding his hand, right, under my knee, I'm going to be able to shoot up the omoplata like this. I like to shoot all the way through, clamp down, and then attack the head. Sometimes, or attack the shoulder. Sometimes what happens is if I feel their heads up a little bit, I can even chop down with my outside leg like this, and then make the connection to break the posture and immediately isolate the shoulder. And once again, when we're here in the omoplata, we're going to punch the arm inside, engage our core, right? And later on, we can reach around the back and then work our attacks. So once again, I'm here playing the collar sleeve. I've already beat the elbow line, right? So I'm winning. So what's going to happen now is Gavin's going to drop to one knee, right? The moment he drops to one knee like this, right? I don't want to keep my foot in the hip because I make it easier for him to control my leg and I start to work free, like footwork passes, like toreandos, knee slices, things like that. So the moment I feel him drop to one base, I'm going to kick my leg past the body. Now I'm in kind of like this half closed guard position, right? And now immediately my first goal is going to be to break this grip that he has on my ribs, this anchor grip. So as I kick shoulder and break the grip, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck his arm under my hamstring and my knee. And I'm going to really engage my core and go over my left shoulder like this. Almost like I'm inverting. So I invert, I shoot my leg all the way through, I can climb and then reach for the omoplata. Or if I start to go and I feel his head kind of go up, I can use my calf on the back of his head to chop down and I can climb and then land here with the omoplata. So start standing. I've listed that one again.
kick the foot.
Yeah, I didn't kick. I got kind of like missed it. So that. No, just keep it. You got it. Yeah. So now we're going to work the flash arm bar when we're going for the omoplata. So once again, I'm here in the collar sleeve. My partner decides to take a knee, right? And immediately I want to kick my leg past the body, so I take away any chances of him passing to my left, right? So as I kick the leg past the body here, my goal is always going to be to break this grip and go for omoplata. That's kind of like my feeler move, right? It's going to kind of set the pace and let me know like what reactions are going to come, right? So oftentimes what happens here is the guys know that I'm using this as leverage to raise my hip. So what they're going to do is they're going to pummel my leg off and then reach super high on my ribs, right? So when he reaches super high on my ribs, the higher he reaches, the better it is for him to not let me throw my leg over for the half lasso, right? But oftentimes they can put themselves in an arm bar. So what I like to do is when I start to feel him kind of reaching across my ribs, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of swing my leg, because what this does is this kind of helps me gauge where his elbow is, and it also pulls my elbow above the hip. So when I start to swing my leg like this, what I'm doing is I'm forcing him to expose his arm, and when I feel that his arm is kind of passing my hip, right, immediately I'm going to throw my leg over the face. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to throw my leg, right? I'm going to put my shin across his face. I'm going to cut my hamstring just like this. As I cut my hamstring, I'm going to pinch my heel, my butt. I'm going to turn my knee inwards, and then finish with the flash arm bar, right? So oftentimes when you go for this move, right, you have to really sell that you want to step on the shoulder, okay? Because this is going to make them almost panic a little bit because they know that I need that as leverage to elevate my hips, right? So I'm really selling this. So as I go here, look, he pummels it off, right? I'll even try to step it again. Because when I do this, watch what he's going to do. He's going to bring his shoulder more forward, exactly. Right? Once I feel that, now I'm going to use my knee to expose the elbow like this. I'm going to kind of pull forward. Once I feel it's across my hip, immediately I'm going to bring my knee to my chest, throw the leg past the face, and I'm going to cut my hamstring to make sure that I lock it into place like this. Watch. Right? As I pinch my knees, right, I'm going to use my core as well, my elbows and my lats, everything, to finish the straight arm lock with the flash. So let's go over a couple angles.
You want to play off the pummel?
No, I was just thinking, should we start standing, you think?
You could do that.
Yeah, let's start standing there. Actually, no, let's just start combat base. I think better. Yeah, less steps. So let's start here. So here. Oh, sorry, go back. Yeah, my bad. Go there, and then I'm gonna leg past the body. And then, sorry, I'm just trying. So now we're going to work on the scissor sweep from the combat base, right? We have the collar sleeve. So oftentimes I believe the scissor sweep is something that's very overlooked because it's a fundamental position, but at the highest level you can get it as long as the scenario is right. So when I'm here, obviously when he goes combat base, my objective is to kick the leg past the body, so he can't isolate my leg. And now I'm going to go for the omoplata, right? That's always my feeler move, like I was saying before, is that I want to kick and break this grip, and from there I can feel the reactions, right? So as I'm here, I'm really going to keep this grip, right? Let's say he's got a control here in the ribs, and I'm going to create some slack by kicking, but I'm going to feel that I can't break the grip. For whatever reason, he's putting weight into the grip, or he's just super strong. So as I start to kick and I feel like I can't get it, I'm going to loop under, kind of like a lasso, right? So I'm lassoing his arm, but I'm making a knee shield in the ribs. So once I get here, super simple, I'm going to turn my knee inwards, okay? I'm going to internally rotate my knee, my heel's gonna go up, and I'm gonna really close my elbow and connect his chest to my leg. So I'm not just gonna like nonchalant control this and kick, but I'm creating like this control where I'm connecting him to my knee. See that how I'm connecting the knee to my hand? So now it's like very easy for me to feel where his weight is and get the sweep. So as I'm here, I'm just gonna very simply push, pull. I can even go back and forth a little bit. When I feel his weight come off his legs, I'm gonna chop. I'm gonna get my calf down by his knee. I'm gonna chop. And I'm gonna keep my hook on his ribs. I'm gonna shoot my leg all the way through and land here in the mount from the scissor sweep, right? So once again, I'm kicking my leg past the body, right? This is my feeler move, right? If I feel like I can break the grip, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna go for the omoplata every time. I always wanna go for the submission. So as I'm kicking though, I'm gonna feel like I created some slack here, right? I just can't quite break the grip, I'm gonna hook. Now as I hook, I'm gonna create this lever, right? My knee against his chest. I'm gonna close my elbow, connect my hand to my knee, and now it's connected. His chest and my knee is connected. So here I can really feel where his weight is. So here I can play back and forth, and when I feel like I can pull him forward, I'm gonna chop his bottom leg, I'm gonna pull his sleeve, kick, and then end up here in the mount. So one more time, let's do a few different angles now. So now we're going to work a scissor sweep variation when we can't loop our leg around the arm. So when I'm here in the combat base with Gavin and the collar sleeve, right? We're going through all the options, right? First option, omoplata, if I can break the grip. If I can't break the grip, we loop under. What's going to happen now is when I try to loop under, Gavin's going to close his elbow like this. So when he closes the elbow, his grip is strong, and I can't find the space to get that lasso. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a shin wedge over his arm like this. Because what he's doing is he's closing his elbow. He's making it easier for me to trap his arm. So when I feel that, I down turn my knee, right? I want to internally rotate as much as I can because the lower I get it, the easier it's going to be for me to get my knee in that pocket and then break his grip. So I go here, I'm going to break his grip, and as soon as I do, I'm going to come up here on my elbow. Right? Whenever I get the knee shield and I can sit up on my elbow, I feel like this takes away any type of base that he has on his knee. And it sets up a lot of future attacks if you were to try and back up or anything like that. So when I'm here with my knee down, I'm going to step on his hip. I'm going to create a little more space. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to step on the inside of his knee with my left foot. Right? It's important I don't go on the top of his knee because his knee is strong here. I want to go on the inside, right, where I can externally rotate his knee by kicking. So once I'm here, I externally rotate. I'm going to kick. I'm going to simultaneously drag my elbow back, pulling on the sleeve, chop my legs. Just like this, I keep my leg super heavy, shoot my leg all the way through, and I can land here in the mount. So once again, here in the collar sleeve with the combat base, right? I can't break the grip with the foot and the shoulder with the half lasso. I can't loop because his elbow's tight. So I down turn my knee, getting the shin wedge over his bicep, right? I'm gonna kick and break the grip, and then immediately I wanna step on the hip, sit up on my elbow, and I'm going to be here, right, getting ready to load myself for the sweep. So now I put my foot on the inside of his knee, I externally rotate it, kick, pull, and then land here. So now we're going to work on a scissor sweep attempt that leads to a triangle from the combat base. So once I'm here in the combat base, just like always, keeping the leg past the body, right? So once I want to step on the shoulder, he does a good job, right, of not letting me break the grip, and then he closes the elbow so I can't loop the arm. So as I go here, we get the shin wedge. It's important we focus on breaking the grip first. The more you down turn your knee, the more stress it's going to put on his hand, right? So as I down turn my knee, I break this grip, boom. I want to step on the hip. I'm going to arch my back, sit up on my elbow, right? And now I'm going to step on the knee. So my goal is always going to be to go for the triangle, but if I feel like his knee's turning inwards and I feel like it's just too heavy here, and he's doing a good job with his weight, right? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to step my left foot back on the hip. And if you notice, since I created distance, the combat base knee isn't really in my way. So once I've created this distance and I feel like I can't go for the scissor sweep, very simple, I'm going to step on the hip, I'm going to follow my back, and I'm going to shoot my hamstring right across his neck. Just like this. Now, like I was saying before previously in the triangle, is that if I can just lock it straight, you have flexible legs, you have long legs, that's great. But if you have shorter legs or your partner has bigger shoulders, just like always, right, we're going to keep our legs locked, pass the arm first, bring my knees to my chest, adjust the triangle, flexing my foot, hide the shoulder, look how my knee turns inward like this. It's very important. Raise my hips, squeeze, and then finish with the triangle, right? So once again, here in the combat base, kicking the leg past the body, right? Feel like his knee's closing inside, so I can't get that lasso to go for the original scissor sweep. So I'm going to go shin wedge, right? I break his grip, I step on the hip, I sit up, right? I've created enough distance so I'm away from this bottom knee. So I go for the scissor sweep, but I feel like his base is too strong. I step back on the hip, I follow my back, and I shoot my hamstring across his neck. So I go straight, or if not, I lock my legs like a closed guard, raise my hips to pass the arm, isolate the shoulder, turn my knee inwards. See how my knees are open? I turn it in. It's very important. I want it to go higher my shin, squeeze behind the neck, raise my hips in. Finish with triangle. All right, so let's go over it again here. Real time.